Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another St. Charles Stories episode. I'm Nate Went, Tourism Sales Coordinator for the St. Charles Business Alliance. Also here on the Alliance side is our marketing specialist, Rachel Garland.
Hello.
So we got another great episode here as we're going to be talking to some really amazing community champions here with Bob and Sue McDowell. They're former business owners here. They've done everything under the sun here in St. Charles. So we're going to learn a little bit about some of the amazing contributions that they've done here. So Bob, Sue, it's great to see you. How you guys doing?
Hi.
Hey,
well,
we're doing good.
We're doing really good.
Good. Well, we appreciate getting you guys coming on and, getting to share your story a little bit. So let's kind of get to learn a little bit about you guys first. So can you tell us a little bit about yourselves? How long have you guys been in St. Charles for? Some of your favorite things to do here. I know that's going to be a lot because you guys have been here for so long, but one fun fact about yourself.
Do we really have to tell the number of years?
If you don't want to, just say a long time and we'll call it there.
We're really lucky enough to meet when we were in high school. So obviously that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
We will celebrate our 51st wedding anniversary, 51st on April the 10th of this year.
Thanks. Now everybody knows probably how old.
Well, you guys look amazing. But yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bob.
It just gives you a little bit of background that we've been around a long time and we've seen a lot of wonderful things happen to the Valley and St. Charles in particular.
Yeah, true. Really true. Yeah, we both graduated from high school, as Bob said. I grew up in Minneapolis, but moved, to St. Charles in high school. And so we have had a really wonderful long history in the area.
Yeah, it makes sense. High school sweethearts, absolutely makes sense. So, what are some of you guys' favorite things to do here in St. Charles?
Oh my gosh. What do we like? We like to eat.
Yep. Just good. Like you got all the restaurants. Love to see all the new restaurants and everything.
Since we were able to retire and get out of the workforce, now we enjoy St. Charles. I'd say we enjoy St. Charles even more. We spend a lot of time walking along the river, the Potawatomi Park, Mount St. Mary's,
True.
Even just walking through downtown. And, we were fortunate enough to retire just before COVID. And so it was really a great way to get out, get some exercise. And we still do that today. We probably walk 3-4 times a week and try to get our 10,000 steps at least. So
yeah, absolutely.
We both enjoy golfing quite a bit together as a couple and individually. And we gave up bike riding. We decided that, crap wasn't quite enough for us. So we gave that up. But otherwise, we really just enjoy our community.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have been a part of it, with, McDowell Remodeling, kind of going off, as you said, you guys are recently retired, what was it like having a business here for, believe like 48 plus years?
Yeah, you got that right. It was really, really great. It grew from a very small, business with really pretty much just Bob doing the work and me helping with the office stuff and that, and then grew and grew. The community gave back as much or more to us as we did to them. And we sort of grew as we were comfortable with what we could really do and do it well. So it was just a really wonderful experience. It's hard to believe it was that many years, honestly, because it really went pretty fast. But
and I think we were really lucky. We had some great mentors in the early days. Not many people will remember this name, but Bill Radicke in Geneva had a construction company, and I always looked up to Bill as if I could achieve what he achieved in his later years, we would be extremely successful. And I think that with Susan, my direction in that, we made it. We did. We never. I always told my employees, you'd never be ashamed to walk in the Jewel with a McDowell T-shirt.
Blue Goose.
Blue Goose. Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't believe Blue Goose is closing. But anyway, funny story to go way back in that I was in retail for a long time, and Bob was doing the work, and I was helping, on my off time. And I finally quit retail, and we had been members of the chamber, which was probably back then, one of the only organizations in town, but not active. And so I was not in retail anymore, and there was a chamber breakfast, and I went and started introducing myself. And one of the women that I met said, do you work on new construction? Do you do siding and windows and all that on new construction? And I said, oh, yes, we do, of course. Yeah. And she said, well, I have blueprints in my car. And so I said, okay. So I came home from the meeting and said, oh my gosh, this is like phenomenal. I got a job to bid already, and we ended up doing the work, and, kind of the rest is history. That was the start of the community involvement. And like I say, the community gives back as much or more than you give if you are honest and true and work hard and all that stuff. So
yeah, absolutely. No, and that kind of leads into our next question. So Rachel, if you want to take it from here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's so apparent how much you two care for St. Charles, and how, especially through your involvements and stuff. Can you both touch on what you actually are involved in locally?
Well, going back, I remember there was a little article in the paper. They were looking for board members for the Neighborhood Improvement Association. And at about that time,
goes way back.
This goes back quite a few years. I had hired a few people, and so I wasn't doing all the work myself, and I had a little free time. So I had volunteered for that group, and that group was headed up by most of the banks in town, and they made no interest loans available to people who needed home improvement. And I always thought that was wonderful. So if you were an elderly couple and needed a roof and had limited funds and could only buy your medicine or pay for a roof, we were able to put a roof on, and you didn't have to pay that loan back until the house was sold, which really got to me, really got me thinking about what we could do in St. Charles. And so I stayed on that board until it dissolved. I was a past president, and eventually the banking regulations changed, and it kind of fell out of favor. Then I got involved with Lazarus House probably 15 years ago. And I was asked by Mike Roberts at the time, who was the president, if I would come and help them with a remodeling project. They had done a project that took them about 18 months because it was all volunteer. And it was a great project, but it took way too long. So I spearheaded that for them. And we turned that building around in about 8 weeks, which was really, really wonderful.
And he was one of our customers.
Yeah.
So, the whole thing goes around. That's how that started.
So I got kind of a taste of the water, so to speak. And then Mike asked me if I'd like to join the board because of that experience. And I said, I would. Well, now fast forward 15 years, and now I'm president of the Lazarus House Board. Yeah. And really, really very, very thankful to be a part of that team. Back up a couple of years ago, Tri-City Health Partnership wanted to expand their medical clinic. Mm-hmm. And I knew Kim Lemansky very well. And Kim and I worked for almost 2 years. This last summer, we completed the second dental clinic for them. And I think that's one of the nicest things I've been involved in besides Lazarus House. The need is there. And, we're so blessed. We don't see it. We don't see people sitting on the curb, but they need our help. And so that, and I'm just starting to help Fox Valley Hands for Hope with a project over there. And so having the time now to be able to really dive in and give back, it's really pretty fulfilling. And Sue will probably say it's great to get me out of the house.
Yes. No, I mean,
between golf season. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean,
that's kind of a brief for me, and then we'll let her go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on one thing, just say, sure. Bob, I mean, it's so awesome to see how much of a lasting impact that is between not even, just, the physical side with the building and stuff, but being able to help so many people. So, truly, we've been so blessed to have your, your services here in St. Charles, and Sue, yours as well. So yeah, if you would like to share some of your stuff that you've been involved with as well, Sue.
Well, like I say, I think the Chamber was one of the first organizations. And then I have to say this because it will make Jenna laugh, but on a snowy day in 1992, when the first big meeting for the Downtown St. Charles Partnership was started, I was there, and honestly, I can't believe it's 30 years ago. It's so rewarding to think back to all the things that, we, the Downtown Partnership and the St. Charles Business Alliance, have all accomplished together. How many volunteers, how many committees, and the help with the city and all. I mean, it's really monumental. I don't think there's very many communities that can say that they've had a group like the Alliance together for and effective and efficient for 30 years. I mean, it's really awesome. So I've met so many people. I've learned so much through all of that has really been wonderful. And, today and every day I'm still involved. But I think in the 90s, when we were building the business, my emphasis was a little bit more business related, although I did get involved in the hospital auxiliary back then. And that was sort of the beginning of my kind of learning from those who had been doing it, how to fundraise. And right. I do love to fundraise for organizations that need the money, and so I learned that working on hospital auxiliary stuff and all that, and that has translated into helping a lot of other organizations with their auctions and galas and all that. And that's just, it's, as I say, it's fun. I was in retail, so I was sort of in sales. So fundraising to me is like making a sale and giving the money to somebody who's really, really deserving, whether it's Lazarus House or any other organization. So that's fun. So it evolved into the Fine Art Show, which was the start, of my organization of Fine Art Show. The Del Nora Auxiliary we had done a little art show back in the early 90s, and that kind of started it. I'd been going to art shows with friends and thought that, I'm, as you know, Nate, I've heard me say this so many times, I am in awe of artists and art and how they come up with the creativity, the imagination, and then actually, implement and execute their vision. And so the little by little, I got more involved, and the Fine Art Show was started in, I think, 99. And it was really a product of the downtown revitalization, the Downtown St. Charles Partnership, to bring a quality event that didn't close down all the streets and all of that, but brought people to town, and then people would start to see what a great town St. Charles was. Right. So and all of that, and I've learned so much over the years in terms of from the artists and organizing that, and just working with everybody, that it's just evolved into more emphasis on developing the arts and that in St. Charles and beyond. So
right. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, that kind of leads into a question that I was going to ask later, but I'll ask it now. So, in terms of, having the Fine Arts Show and bringing art to the community, obviously that's a huge passion of yours with, being, part of the Fine Arts Council, doing the Fine Arts Show, and then, being the curator at 116 Gallery. So, what's, kind of the, importance to you, like, of having arts in the St. Charles community and making sure that they're recognized and promoted and celebrated here?
Well, it's just art. I love it when people kind of discover what art can do, how it makes you feel. And art is encompassing. I mean, it's paintings and 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional sculpture and all. It's music. It just encompasses so many parts of our lives, and it would be really horrible to think of a life without art. But I think we take it for granted sometimes. So I just think that bringing more attention to it, whether it again through a gallery, through an art show, through a big community art project, whatever, that makes people realize how fun it can be and how rewarding it can be and how important it is, just in our lives. And so the more I can do to move that along in our community. The other part of it, however, is that the arts is really a huge economic engine. And if you do, and way back when we started the Arts Council, 10, 11 years ago, whatever, there's a lot of information and a lot of resources on that. And it really does. And so, it's kind of weird, like having been in retail and seeing retail as we used to know it sort of, evaporate. The arts can really bring, I think, a new energy to town in a lot of different ways where, right. We all know in St. Charles, we don't have a lot of retail. We're so blessed to have, Townhouse and Jeans and Cute Top Shop and some of those specialty businesses, but it's rare. I mean, and they work their tails off to be successful. I know. And thank heavens, our community supports them. But if we can bring some other avenues that involve art, I think that is, probably more realistic than having a little shoe store in town anymore, which is sad, but it's true. So that's, as Bob said, I have the time, to devote on it now. And it's a love and a passion. And so that's what drives me.
Yeah. I've been around it for a long time with her. And last summer, it was really amazing to watch the community come together when they sewed together all that fabric and mounted it on City Hall. Sue had, I don't know how many volunteers in there sewing all at one time. And these ladies aren't artists, but they felt the need to come in and put that piece together. That to me is where it's moving forward. I mean, you're bringing people into arts that, they didn't know they could do that. And so that's pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, as you said, there's a lot of energy coming. There's a lot of, great momentum, especially towards the arts between, the BU sculpture in First Street Plaza, the murals, and, the canvas project that you guys did. Like, it's awesome to see. And we love, having, you here, Sue, because you have been such a champion of the arts here. And we hope to continue to grow that as, we move towards the future. So.
Well, it drives tourism as well, which is a really nice tie-in, right, to the Alliance. But, cultural tourism, as you guys know, also drives a lot of, I think cultural tourists spend more money than, technically than just, anybody coming into town. So I mean, again, over the years, all the organizations, I say, the chamber way back in the 80s was probably the only in the driving organization. But over the years, we have been so blessed to enhance our community with more organizations who, hopefully we all work together. I think we work together, really, really well and just really make the community stronger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So kind of going back to your moment of when you guys hung up that mural on to the municipal building, that was really special. Do you have any other volunteering moments where you're like, wow, this is really making an impact on the community or with our volunteers?
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh.
Or even just a favorite memory, even just something that you are so glad you got to experience.
Just a little one for me was we needed an additional office in one of the Lazarus House buildings. And so I put my team together and we built that office out in a day. And then others are going way back when it wasn't the Alliance, but they asked me if I could build a Santa house.
Oh,
yeah.
And so mine,
that's
who has since passed, but Kevin and I went over to my shop and we spent a couple months building the Santa house. And, that was 20 years ago today or this year. And Sue and I will walk into the plaza every Christmas, and I get a tear in my eye when I see those little kids standing. That was Christmas. We helped Geneva build out theirs years ago. So many little things like that. We built an addition. We helped the home builders build an addition on a house for a handicapped child. It just goes on and on and on. And as the years pass, you kind of forget all those things until we sit in a moment like this and we can kind of reflect back and you think, oh gosh, how did we ever pull that off? Well, we did,
Yeah, it's true. It is true. It is hard to remember all of the things. There's so many. I don't know. I mean, I guess the Fine Art Show is just a huge, satisfaction and just makes me really, really happy. And last year was, probably almost the best ever, because people wanted to get out and do something, and we were able to. We lucked out. We had that window that worked out really well, and of course, the artists were so happy to be out, and so thankful for all the work that we all did, all the volunteers and all you guys, and the weather was fabulous, and people bought art, and it was really, really a phenomenal weekend. And there have been lots of art shows with lots of memories, but I think that was really one of my favorites so far.
Yeah, I mean, 2020 definitely owed us a little bit for all the hectic that year. So being able to have it last year with amazing weather, everybody coming out and supporting the arts, I mean, it was phenomenal. So
yeah,
definitely see why.
Yeah, it really was. I got my fingers crossed for the weather this year.
Yes. Well, and speaking of the weather this year and upcoming events, so we got you guys coming for the Grand Marshals, for the St. Pat's Parade, which we're super excited to bring back. So kind of a silly question here, but what's it like to be the longest running Grand Marshals here in St. Charles?
Well, because of the reason, we hope it's surpassed for another reason. I think it's truly quite an honor. Our building was right on the corner of 6th and Main for all those years, and so many Christmas parades and St. Patrick's Day parades. We had opened the building and we'd serve the coffee and donuts and
hot buttered rum.
Yeah, the hot buttered rum.
Right.
But to be able to, we were never able to walk out and get on a float. Many times Santa was always the last float. We'd have to say, okay, Santa, come on, you got to get up and get on your float now, It's going to be, it's quite an honor. It's an honor to be thought of as, something special. And it's nothing that we ever vied for, but it just kind of seemed to come our way. So are we excited? Absolutely. I remember the last one, the Kellys were the Grand Marshals, and unfortunately it was pouring rain. And the two sitting on the back of their vehicle. Sue and I were under the cover of our front porch, and I can remember Dan and Bill looking at us. We were waving to them, and they were like, "You rats, we're sitting out here in the rain, and you're undercover." So, we're just hoping for the community and for us that the weather's somewhat decent, and we have a good turnout, and we expect that to be true. So
we are very excited, and we we've told everybody we are in California. We're telling people we're golfing with. We're telling people, but we did see. And this is kind of again, I think a cool thing about our community. We did see some really good friends who live in LA last week, and they've lived their whole lives there, and they've been to St. Charles many times, and they love St. Charles, but they were comparing how, and us talking about the parade and everything, they have no community. They don't really have a downtown. They don't have, they have friends, but they're not known, and we're so lucky and blessed and love the fact that, we know a lot of people in town, and you go to a restaurant or something and you run into people, and that is, if you don't live in a town like St. Charles, you don't get that experience and right. That feeling. It's wonderful. As town has grown, I mean, we do go out to dinner and we go, wow, there's like nobody here we know. But that's a good thing for town. So
yes. I mean, we're super excited to have you guys for the parade. I think in our press release we said you guys have been practicing your wave for about 2 years now. So excited to see that. But
our arms are tight. Yeah.
I know you guys are gonna come out for the parade. And you guys are gonna be like all muscle on this side because you've been so practicing it so much. So, but no, I mean, truly, we've been so blessed to have you guys here in St. Charles, especially being able to have you, Sue, especially building out our organization. Essentially now I get to be here and serve St. Charles. So, it's been so awesome. So, that'll be, that kind of brings us to our last question. Is there anything that you guys would like to, say to the St. Charles community? I know we could talk hours and hours about St. Charles, but unfortunately we got to wrap it up here, but just want to see if there's anything you'd like to say to the community here.
I would really like to say that to continue this going, to to continue this feeling in our community and the growth that with the Alliance, the city, and everybody is so exciting. However, it won't continue without the drive and the passion of people like us and the people before us. Names that maybe some people that are listening to this will know, but the Oys, the Hunts, the Earhouses, you know, I mean, there's just so many names, and we're sort of that, you know, in that level now, and hopefully mentoring and being a really good example for younger ones to come along, because that really is the heart and soul of the community, is our volunteering and our passion to lead this. And so I know I've told people, they probably don't believe it, but I do not want a charity art show forever. I always want to be involved, but I want, you know, I want to bring others along. And if my enthusiasm and my passion can bring people in, I will always do that. But it has to, the gavel has to be passed, you know, little by little. So hopefully we're motivating people to get involved by these stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can assure you that you've had such an impact on the Alliance. I mean, I'm newer to the team. I joined in June. And ever since then, all I hear are just such highly complimented things about your involvement in the community, both of you. So really, you are making an impact.
Well, thank you. And there's many others like us, honestly. And some are probably not as well known or don't talk as much as I do, but you know, there may be a little more behind the scenes, but yeah, and thank you for that, really. But we're not going anywhere. Hopefully we can keep it going. So
yeah. Bob, anything that you'd like to add on to there?
I think Sue cheated a little bit and looked at my notes, because I was watching others before us. I think to her point, when she started dragging me to the Charlemagne and all of the functions that were going on, and you could see people, you know, we think we've given, but there were folks before us who not only gave to the community, but they gave to the school systems, they gave to their churches, they gave and gave and gave and gave. And they never asked for anything in return. And I think that's this foundation that has built our community. There's so many, going back to the Bakers and the Norrises.
Way back.
You know, we just have such a terrific environment with which we can live in. So yeah, it's terrific.
Absolutely. No, I mean, we're so, like I've said, multiple times throughout this podcast, we're so lucky to have you guys here. And lucky to have you guys continue to be a part of our community. And, hopefully, anyone that's watching this video, let's get inspired. Let's do what we can to help keep that momentum going, keep the energy going, and see what we can do to make this town great. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks
of course.
It's fun. As you can tell, we love to talk about ourselves. Hey, Charles. And we're practicing.
So yeah, everyone, you come see that wave during the St. Path Parade coming up here in March. But otherwise, that'll bring us to the end of our St. Charles stories. Thank you all again for watching. Hope you all are inspired. Let's do what we can to make St. Charles great. So we will end it there. So thank you all again for watching. We'll have more videos coming down the road. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Hey everyone, thank you again for listening to our St. Charles stories. We're excited to continue this series as we start to build it up with some more stories. So a few announcements as we wrap up the video here. If you haven't checked out our upcoming events, make sure to go to our website, www.stcalliance.org. Go check out the amazing events that we got going on down here and be a part of the community. We're always looking for volunteers for those too. So if you're interested in volunteering, the information's in the events on how to volunteer. So hope to see you guys down here for that. Last up is something that we're super, super excited about. We are launching our Visit widget, which is a app that's going to be available on our website, but also you can download it to your phone, where you can build your own custom itinerary of things that you can do here in St. Charles. So we have a little video here to explain how it goes. So here's the video.